The 2022 Volvo XC60 T8 Recharge Polestar Engineered is one, a long name, but two, it's the ultimate version of something like a Toyota RAV4 Prime. You get 35 miles of all-electric driving range, 455 horsepower, and a beautifully luxurious and functional interior, all in a compact crossover package. So, why don't people know about it? Why don't people buy it? And, most importantly for today, what is it like out on the highway? Let's go find out. Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and traditionally we go out on these highway fuel economy tests to see what sort of fuel economy you can expect cruising at 70 miles per hour. However, there's been a lot of debate on how to properly handle plug-in hybrid vehicles, and plug-in hybrids are tough for this reason because some people treat them as normal electric vehicles. They try to just optimize all of the range and EV only. They try to do as much driving as possible in electric, and then once their electricity is up, after they have to drive for, say, 60 miles or something like that, then they switch over and drive like a conventional hybrid. Other people, and other vehicles, I should say, use more of a hybrid mixture of both the EV portion and the gas portion of the car to sort of optimize their efficiency and fuel economy over a longer period of time. So for example, if you're traveling for 100 miles, you might use the vehicle in hybrid mode and allow the battery to slowly deplete when the vehicle decides it's most efficient, or you might decide to do all electric first and then run pretty much as a conventional gasoline car by the end. So without doing multiple tests, there's no way to really please everyone. So for today, what we're going to do, and I think moving forward for plug-in hybrid vehicles, is we're going to do less of the testing for how efficient the vehicle is, and more of the testing of how does the vehicle handle itself on the highway. So what we're going to do is go out in hybrid mode, in hybrid auto. Actually, we're going to change it to that after we fill up, but hybrid auto, and just see if how the car handles at 70 miles per hour. Is it running in electric only? Is it running in sort of a mixed mode? We'll see how long it takes for that electricity to run out and for the vehicle to run as a normal hybrid. And then once the EV battery is depleted, we'll see what sort of efficiency we get according to the vehicle's readout. Before we get started with all that, let's hop out, take a look at it. Like I said, for 2022, the Volvo XC60 and all of the T8 Recharge models get the Recharge Extend option, which increases the battery capacity to 18.8 kilowatt hours and gives it more horsepower as well. You used to only get 87 horsepower on EV only with these Volvos, but now you get 143, and it makes it actually feel peppy when you're running in electricity only. So not only is this faster on EV only, it's also faster outright, 455 horsepower and 523 pound-feet of torque. So this is essentially the best all-arounder vehicle I can think of. For about $70,000 as equipped, you get all of these sort of goodies. You get a cool, good-looking car, beautiful, functional interior. If you can't tell, I'm a big fan of the XC60 T8 Polestar Engineered. This thing's just plain old fun, too. Another thing that the T8 models get for 2022 is a proper one-pedal driving mode. So when you shift down into B, as I am here, and release the accelerator, the car comes to a complete stop very smoothly, very intuitively. I appreciate that. So what we've done is we've driven the car over here to the gas station in EV charge mode. So we should have just about a full electric battery. We're going to top off gas tank and then head out and see what happens. One thing I'm just noticing is that there's no side indicator for which side your fuel door is on, so that's a little unfortunate because I actually don't know. I think it's on the right side. We're just gonna take a chance here. Whew, I was right. Unfortunately, you do have to put premium fuel in this one. 1.581 gallons going in for our first fill. Okay, before we start the engine, we are going to switch into hybrid auto. I guess we have to turn the car on first. Reset our trip computer, and let's get our GPS reset as well. And we're ready to begin. Oh, let's get our climate control set at 72 degrees auto as well. Typically we like to do 73, but this car only goes in 2 degree Fahrenheit increments. We're heading out and we are just in hybrid auto mode. We're gonna let the car figure out what it wants to do in all of these driving situations, and I'll kind of talk and let you all know how it handles each one. We're running an EV only mode right now, which makes sense considering we're just going slow. A few things to note for today: outside temperature 64 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're running our tire pressures at the door placard 38 psi cold. When we left the station, we had 37 miles of EV range. Now it's saying 36. We're gonna get up to highway speed here, and I'm just gonna drive comfortably, casually, as someone who's not trying to do a fuel economy test would drive, and see when the engine kicks on, kind of what speeds, what throttle position, etc. See on the gauge, it's kind of holding itself in EV mode here, even though getting on the throttle kind of hard, getting up to speed. There's no good indicator for when the gasoline engine is running, other than that whole power readout there, but there's not really an indicator that comes on. I think in the previous gen Volvos, that little water droplet looking thing, what I assume is supposed to be a gasoline droplet, would kind of fill up, would turn white when you were running on the gasoline motor, but that's not the case with this 22 model. Alright, we're going to set our cruise control at a GPS indicated 72 miles per hour. That should allow us to average 70 over the whole test. Looks like the speedometer's dead on. Car's reading about 71, 72. Our GPS is giving us 72. So here we go. This is running on all electric right now. Some people in the comments of previous plug-in hybrid tests have said that plug-in hybrids are smarter than that, and they wouldn't just burn out their electric range doing 70 miles per hour on the highway. They would use it kind of dynamically. And to be fair, in the, what was it, I think it was a Hyundai Tucson plug-in hybrid. It was either a Tucson or a Santa Fe plug-in hybrid that we took on a long trip. That one did use its plug-in hybrid more dynamically, and it kind of stretched it out over to 100 miles or so. But in this Volvo, it seems to just be chugging along right on battery only. So I'm going to continue on here, and I'll pop on the camera and let you know if the engine kicks on at all before the battery is depleted. But right now it looks like we're just sucking down battery at 70. So in the meantime, enjoy this time lapse of the entire test, and I'll come back in when the engine kicks on. "35 miles onto the highway test, and I gotta say, I am impressed in the Volvo's highway efficiency accuracy, if you will, because the car estimated 37 miles of EV only range when we left the gas station, and we just clicked onto 0 left at 35.1. So any second, the gasoline engine should be kicking on. Any time now. Waiting for that little indicator right there to drop, and we'll see if I can even feel the engine kick in. 35.5. That means about 35 miles on the highway. Any moment. Come on. Come on. There we go. 36.1 miles we were able to travel, so about 35.6 miles on the highway. That's pretty good. Usually electric vehicles, the range goes quite a bit down when you're on a highway, but this is still very accurate, still met its EPA EV only estimate. Still not particularly efficient, considering that only comes out to, if this really did about 18 kilowatt hours, that's only about 2 miles per kilowatt hour, so not the most efficient car. Most full EVs of this size can do about 3 miles per kilowatt hour on the highway, but still not too bad. it is interesting that the car, even in hybrid mode, elected to entirely deplete its EV battery and then switch over to hybrid mode here. So there wasn't any sort of using the gas motor to kind of combine and slowly deplete the battery like some other plug-in hybrids. But what we'll do is, for the rest of the test, we'll just run this as a normal gas vehicle. And when we get back to the pump, we'll take our total mileage traveled minus the miles that we did in electric and get a fuel economy estimate. Coming into the end of the highway fuel economy test here in the Volvo XC60 T8 recharge extended range. Gosh, the names people are coming up with for these vehicles. Anyway, we're doing pretty well on the gasoline only segment. Coming up here, according to the car's trip computer, 30.1 miles per gallon. That's a few miles per gallon better than the EPA estimates for a normal T6 version of this car, which is pretty similar powertrain. I mean, this one's even a little bit more aggressive, plus adding the battery aspect in there. So that's, if we're really getting 30 miles per gallon, that is not too bad. So you can do 35 miles or so on EV only and then switch on over and run at 30 miles per gallon here in gas only. But we're going to get back to the pump and see what that actually calculates out to based on our calculations, because according to, where are we at here? Well, it's kind of hard to tell, but the car's odometer doesn't seem super accurate compared to our GPS. Other than that, this is a great place to be on the highway. The seats are comfortable. It's relatively quiet in here. I can't help but think that some more street-friendly tires would make it a little bit quieter, even a little bit less road noise. But wind noise is very low, no engine noise virtually, and the Bowers & Wilkins system is absolutely excellent. If you want to see more on that, check the links in the description. We've got a members only test and then the standard sound system test, both good videos. Another thing is the ProPilot Assist works quite well, and unlike some of the other vehicles we've reviewed recently, you just have to have the littlest bit of touch and pressure to have it acknowledge you. So you'll see here in a second, it says hold steering wheel, just the littlest tiny, I mean, just fraction of effort into the wheel makes it recognize that you're touching it. So that's nice, because then you can just have a nice casual hold on the steering wheel here, and then it's always recognizing that you're driving. Either way, we're going to get off the highway here, get back to the pump, fill up, and see what we get. We ended up putting in 2.235 gallons at the pump. So taking our total trip minus what we did in electric only, got 65.9 miles traveled on gas, divided by 2.235 is giving us, look at that, 29.4, almost 29.5 miles per gallon. It's a little bit lower than the 30.5 that the vehicle readout gave us, but I think that's going to be a little bit more accurate. So we're going to round down to 29 miles per gallon here, gasoline only in the Volvo, let's get it right, XC60 T8 recharge extended range car. So interesting to me still that the car decided to just run full electric even when we're in hybrid mode. But now you know you can run about 35 miles on EV only and then switch on over to gas and get just below 30 miles per gallon. And if you do want to save that electricity for driving in the city or driving quietly or something, you can switch into EV hold or EV charge mode, and then you can switch over to hybrid a little bit earlier, use that 30 miles per gallon or so on the highway, and then when you get off the highway and you're driving in the city and you could be a little bit more advantageous with that electricity, you can switch over to pure mode. We do have a remarkable 18.8 gallon fuel tank in here, so 18.8 times 29 miles per gallon is giving you an effective highway cruising range of 545, well really 540 because we like to round down for safety's sake, miles here in the XC60. Toss in an extra 30 miles or so for electricity and you've got a long ways to go. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the great XC60 T8, check the links in the description, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.